Hello. Hi. This time of the year, the military exercise called Key Resolve are conducted across Korea. The joint troops of South Korea and the United States started their training last Monday and will continue till this Thursday, which is designed to help teach, coach, and mentor military members from both countries. And the primary goal is to ensure the command is ready to defend the South Korea in the event it becomes necessary. At the training events that I've been to, the hypothetical terrorist attack were already scripted, but how the troops resolve the situation is entirely up to the soldiers. The combined troops of South Korea and the United States have kicked off their annual joint military exercises that come around this time of year. The exercise, dubbed Key Resolve, is designed for the combined forces to better cope for a possible enemy attack on South Korea. This year, the training began on March 8th and will run through to the 18th, with about 20,000 Korean soldiers and around 18,000 U.S. troops participating.
Key Resolve is the joint exercise by the Republic of Korea military and United States military. It's been quite a defensive military drills. As you know, for the military, the training exercise the key part of the maintaining readiness. In that sense, it's been quite a cornerstone for the stability and the peace of the Korean Peninsula.
This year's Key Resolve is aimed at increasing the efficiency of U.S. reinforcements that will defend South Korea with combined live, virtual, and constructive training. At the Korean naval base in Jinhae, southeastern Korea, the military carried out preparations in case of a terrorist attack. The training is to prepare military for any possible terrorist events that could happen in Korea anytime, anywhere. And today's practice will begin as a car bomb exploding right in front of the military gate in Jinhae, and soon Korean and U.S. military will come to the scene and deal with the situation together. The hypothetical terrorist attack is already scripted, but how the troops resolve the situation is entirely up to the soldiers. The two forces discuss and plan better strategies to overcome the dangerous situation. And the intense drill comes to an end, featuring artificial bombs and gunfire, with the combined forces managing to defeat their imaginary enemy.
The training went very well. These events are usually event-driven, so you have to be somewhat reactionary. By Fastpac Marines being here, we will now be incorporated into the emergency action plan for Jinhae for such real-world responses that you saw here today.
It was an important exercise for us to gain the confidence that we are now ready to complete the mission in any situation, with U.S. Marines and the Korean Navy working together.
But the joint military drills have drawn the ire of anti-war and pro-North Korea protesters, who criticize them as an impediment to peace between the two Koreas.
The Key Resolve exercise, which is obviously not for defense but for attack, is against the current peaceful situation. South Korea and the US should stop the Key Resolve drill, which is a practice to attack North Korea.
Whether in a large group or an individual holding up a sign, the protesters appear at each and every venue where the exercises take place nationwide.
The Key Resolve training exercise is ruining potential talks with North Korea. This is as if one person is saying let's talk, but in reality is stabbing them in the back. If they really want to talk, they need to create a proper atmosphere.
Just a day before the joint military drill began, North Korea denounced the exercises, calling them a rehearsal for invasion. And in response to the annual drills, Pyongyang has threatened to abandon its denuclearization process and sever military talks with Seoul and Washington.
This ever more undisguised and adventurous saber rattling is creating such a tense situation on the Korean peninsula that a war may break out any time.
The combined forces, however, say their joint military exercises are designed to defend South Korea from any potential attack and is not specifically aimed at a possible attack from the communist North.
More important, this is to solidify our relationship. This has nothing to do with
any other country. It's just to say, if something does happen in any setting, that terrorism has no boundaries. We need to be able to react together effectively, and I feel today we were able to demonstrate that.
The training not only gives the troops from both nations an opportunity to strengthen their ability to defend the country, but plays a significant role to show the commitment to the enduring alliance. And military experts have no doubt that the training will help stabilize peace on the Korean Peninsula.
The Combined Forces Command has been very pivotal, played a pivotal role for the peace and stability of the Korean Peninsula, and the spirit of those mutual alliance will be going up to the foreseeable future. I have no specific details regarding that Combined Forces Command, but the spirit itself, esprit de corps of those two countries' military readiness will go forever.
Like what the interviewee just said, I do believe that this exercise, which has been going on for several decades, have played a pivotal role between the two countries' relations. But it was interesting to see the other side of the story, like the anti-war protesters that you interviewed.
Yes, but we have to understand the protesters are not against the U.S. military, and they are simply worried about how the training could increase tension in the north, which seems to be true by watching the news reports from Pyongyang. And for example, last year, North Korea cut off communication with South Korea and stranded some South Korean workers in the border in response to the Key Resolve exercises. And but the military experts from the South say the training is not conducted particularly aiming at North Korea, and it is for any possible threats from outside, and therefore Key Resolve is necessary for South Korea's security, and of course it helps for two countries to bond even better.
All right, Nadine, thank you very much for that report.
Thank you.